So Hal makes tables and chairs. Each chair requires 4 feet of oak and 3 feet of pine. So we'll just read it through a couple times. And each table requires 8 feet of oak and 2 feet of pine. Hal has 52 feet of oak and 23 feet of pine. How many tables and chairs can he build? Okay, so first let's go right down to the last part of this problem. We want to know how many tables and chairs he can build. So I'm going to immediately assign T for tables, and right over top I'm going to assign C for chairs. Okay, so that really, if you read through this a few times, you can see really he has to decide how many tables and chairs he can build. Right? I mean, that's the last sentence, so let's put down this T for tables, and C for chairs. Now let's go look at the chairs information and see what or let's look at let's go back one sentence here. There's usually going to be constraints on these problems. Like if we had nickels and dimes, we might say how much the nickels and dimes add up to and how many nickels and dimes there were total. So that's like a constraint, right? So what do we have here? We have, let's do it in green. The constraint is he has only 52 feet of oak and he has 23 feet of pine. So these are the constraints. These are the things that are going to limit the number of tables and chairs he can build. Right? So let's look at this. Let's look at this table. It says tables and chairs. Tables first. So here's table. Oops, let's do it in red. Here's table. We have 8 feet of oak. 8 feet of oak. And I'm going to also underline that in green because that has to do with oak. And we have 2 feet of pine. Whoops, wrong color. 2 feet of pine. Well, pine we sort of associated with orange here. And these colors will make sense in a minute. I just want you to give it a little time. And each chair requires, here we have oak, right? So, I'm messing up these colors here. This should be all red, right? We're talking about red tables. And so it's 8 feet of oak, 2 feet of pine. Each chair, and chair I made it blue, each chair requires 4 feet of oak and 3 feet of pine. And we said oak is going to be in green and pine is going to be in orange. Okay, so now the total, don't worry too much about the colors right now, but it'll help us. The total pine that we have is 23 feet. Well, let's look at the orange. For every table we build, we use 2 feet of pine. Right, that's right there, times 2. And for every chair we build, how much pine did we use? It's right there. We use 3 feet of pine. So these two multiplied out better equal 23. So there's our first equation. And what about oak? So oak, we're looking at green. What about oak? Our total oak had better be 52. Now these, I see you, if you look at this P and this O, these are constraints. These are very different from our given. So you might want to say, I'm going to assign P and O are variables, but really these are constraints. These are not variables, because look at the end here. We want to know how many tables and chairs he can build. So if our oak is limited to 52, if you told me that we had T tables and C chairs, I could tell you how much oak we used. Well, let's go right to the green. We used, for each table right there, we used 8 feet of oak. And that's what we're doing right here. 8 feet of oak plus. How many chairs did we build, and how much oak is in there? Well, we did C chairs times, where are we? Right here, 4 feet of oak. And on the board, I I may have drawn this today. This might help also. We have tables and chairs, and we have oak, and we have pine. Now I'm switching the colors around here a little bit, but this might help. We have so just don't ignore the colors connection. The total of oak had better be 23 feet, and the total of pine had better be 52. That's right from the givens. Well, look at a table. How much oak does it? A typical table. How much oak does it take? A table takes. Where is it up here? Table takes 8 feet of oak. So 8 times T. A chair takes. How much oak does a chair take? A chair takes 4 feet of oak. 4 times C. I hope I saw that right. And we have 3 feet of pine for every chair, so that's 3C. And we have 2 feet of pine for a table. So 8T plus 4C has to equal, did I switch these up here? The oak is 52, of course I did. Good catch. Total. So the total oak is 52, and the total pine is 23. So this plus this has got to equal there, and this plus this is equal to there, which is the same as this system of equations. Okay.